to the point of exclusion of anything and anyone else. My mother is not a reader at all. She's actually dyslexic, so she's like, "Can I get it on tape?" Well, I think in terms of the actual like learning to write with your hands and a pencil, I remember that being very challenging. Probably through most of my academic career up until I got into high school.
So you mean like penmanship?
Yes, like penmanship, and like not having chicken scratch, and my grandmother. I remember my grandmother being like, "Okay, we're gonna practice writing today," and like she would make me like sit down and write a book out of her page out of her book. And then I didn't learn how to analytically write or creatively write or any of that until I got into college. I had this crazy professor, Dr. Nelson. He was like, "Don't be stupid. That's my only rule." So he actually taught me a lot about writing, about grabbing the reader's attention, right off the bat. So it was actually kind of traumatic, but really, really informative.
And you have a son?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is also training to be a great gamer. Gotta start. You gotta.
How old is he?
He is 4.
He's 4. So he's got the manual dexterity. He's
getting there. Like his thing is DS, because like me and my girl, we both got like DSs because we were wanting to play, and eventually he kind of just confiscated them both, and he just really, it's a great teaching tool for him because he figures it out on his own. Right now he's playing Mario Party. He really loves that, and he'll play. He just discovered multiplayer, so his big thing is like he wants us to play with him, and it's amazing how fast he picks it up. I mean, for a more complicated machine like say the PlayStation, I have to set it up for him,
right, and
then he can go. But he already knows like what to do, how to set up wireless play, which I don't even know. And he's like, just gotta type this in and do that, and I'm like, what? I feel like what maybe my parents felt like when I was trying to explain something simple to them.
Right.
It's like it's passing down, but it's really cool.
He's going to surpass you one day.
I'm hoping for. He's getting good. He wants to play Guitar Hero, and he's not that dexterous. Is that a word? With the whole idea of like playing different keys and then strumming.
Right.
But I expect to come home one day and he's just going to be on extra, just going up and down the neck, and I'm like, way to go.
Well, my parents, God bless them, kept me away from the Atari, which was a smart idea on their part. So I knew of the Atari, the various Atari systems in the early to mid to late 80s as just being these weird objects of mythological fascination. Like, there was the one kid in class who had the Atari, and maybe if you schmooze him enough, you'll get that ticket to the birthday party, and in between pinata busting and donkey tail on pinning, you'll get a chance to go play Pitfall or something. So I didn't do that, but when the Nintendo debuted in America in 87, 88, it didn't take very long for it to become a big thing, and Christmas of my 4th grade year, so that was 88, parents finally broke down and got me and my brother the Nintendo. And that pretty much initiated my life in the great console cycle.
Even going back to what I said earlier about trying to dissect a larger problem into something smaller so you can explain it a little bit better to somebody, and getting them and sort of taking the approach of hand-holding them to get them to a certain point where they kind of understand where you're talking about. It's always been something where when I've had friends that would come to me for any kind of help or any kind of work when it comes to like math, calculus, geometry, physics, anything like that, a lot of times they would get so convoluted by the ideas of taking a simple derivative because it didn't have any kind of meaning to them, providing them the context via saying, well, here, let me show you, this is a line, and what we care about is finding the slope of that line. Why? Because we want to find out, where this line is headed, where, if we have a simple trend here, let's see, where can we describe this line using various, variables and things like that. And providing sort of that context to them has always been sort of beneficial to them. And the way I get to that point is by drawing a simple XY coordinate system, showing them a line and saying, okay, let's start here, understand this, let's see where we apply it where, going from there and saying, okay, where is that slope? Where, can we derive a function for this? Can we interpolate or extrapolate information from this? And, then they start grasping that, this is not just a method. It is it's a tool. It's a way to accomplish, a goal that might not be met, looked for in the book or by the teacher, but even something that they can apply for themselves. And it's always about sort of going back to that simplistic nature of two-dimensional plot, and eventually getting to a point where they can see more complexity that comes around from that sort of 2D formation of a line on an XY coordinate system.